9 minutes past 9. This is where it's all going to go wrong now. We invite our guest in and I don't know how to work the studio. Elliott, are you there?
Hey, bro.
You're there. That's amazing. I wasn't expecting you to be there. Okay, so first things first, let's introduce Elliott. So this morning, Elliott is a special guest on Maritime Radio 96.5. As I've kept saying, he's a male model, he's a father, he's a recovering addict. And we're going to talk about his experience being in recovery and addiction during this lockdown period. Hello, Elliott.
Hey, bro.
First things first, we have to ask you, how was your hair looking?
Well, I'm happy that I'm not in the studio with you, so I don't have to have it styled. So, right. Like, I've had the bath this morning, and it's hooked back, so it's not in any sort of style, unfortunately.
You'll be joining that queue at the barber's a little later on.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
So I introduced you as a male model, father, and recovering addict. Let's talk about the recovery and addiction first. So, how long have you been sober or clean? What's the correct term or phrase?
My clean time is a little under 17 months now.
Can I ask you what your drug or addiction of choice was?
Yeah, so, do you know, like, when you ask that, it's in recovery, bro, like, I've learnt, that this is what people say. They say about, my drug of choice was, and for me, it's a bit controversial almost, because what I was taught in rehab in a rehab facility in Oxford it was in April 2018, that there are two parts to me.
Yeah.
So there's who I like to call Little Elliott today, and then there's the addict Elliott. So when people say to me, what was your drug of choice, or they ask you what my drug of choice was, it's interesting because therapists in the rehab facility had taught us that we don't make the choice. Our addict takes over. It's almost like a split personality, like a type of schizophrenia. So I wouldn't choose to do alcohol and cocaine. At the same time, if that was the way to answer your question, bro, that would be it. Yeah. Those are my drugs of choice, were alcohol and cocaine. So yeah.
I love that. I'm so glad that you explained that to us and gave us the backstory, because a lot of us, we don't know. We're ignorant to this topic. So let's go back with you. So how do you think it all started?
Wow. How long have you got? How long have you got? So, I was 12, 13 at the time, and my dad had left home, and I was living with my mum and my elder brother, who's two years older than me, and my younger sister, who was 4 years younger than me. And I almost felt, bro, like almost like the father of the house, because my dad had gone, and I had this amazing relationship, and it's coming back slowly today with my real mum, and we played this, what they call good cop bad cop. So, like, if there are arguments in the house between my sister and brother and me and my mum would do the arguing, and I would go in there and sort of like make the peace.
Yeah.
So my environment, it's accelerated, and what I mean is that I went from being a young boy, and dreaming about football and modelling and all that sort of thing, and I was then also catapulted into being the dad of the house, which, like, I spoke to people about it before, bro, and they said, well, Elliott, do you know what, like, I've had a similar experience to you. At the same time, I haven't experienced drug addiction. I haven't experienced alcoholism. It wasn't traumatic for me. So, like, where are you coming from on it?
People always say that, and I don't think that's fair, because everyone's trauma, everyone's feelings, everyone's life is different, and they always throw that in people's face, and I think that's just so unfair.
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, bro, what I've came to understand and what I've learned about my brain and how I think and how my brain operates is that we were taught in rehab It was one of the first things that we were taught as a group. When they sat us down and they said to us that we have super sensitive brains.
Yeah.
And I was sat there, bro, and I was like, what does that even mean?
They mean addicts or humans in general?
Addicts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, addicts and alcoholic types. So again, I was like, what's that even mean? And so when I started my journey, and it's, I'm going now, to the present day, it's like 2 years it's just over 2 years now that I've been in recovery. And what I've learned is that if I look back at my behaviours, bro, like, for example, I would be sat in a pub, and my friends and I, and it is my truth, where we would have a couple of pints, and then we'd have a line of cocaine. And my friends then would say, Elliot, thanks for a great night. I'm going home. I'm going home to spend time with my partner, my kids, have a Chinese and watch the soaps. And I would be at the bar, bro, and I'd be like, what are you on about? Why are you going? What I didn't realise was happening was that the craving and the phenomenon of taking that cocaine, what happened was my brain reacted to it at a super sensitive rate. So what they teach us is that our brains basically we have an allergic reaction, which sets off a craving that cannot be stopped. It's so powerful. At the same time, though, bro, I didn't realise that. I just thought everyone was reacting to drinking cocaine like I was.
Yeah.
So, if I go back and I look at, when I was talking to you, bro, or talking with you, sorry, about growing up as a young man, and I was accelerated into that role of being a dad, and that wasn't anyone's fault. That was my choice. At the same time, if you ask my brother or my sister about their experience, they didn't have the same experience. Well, why did they react the same way? Because their brains aren't super sensitive like mine is. So yeah, it sort of makes sense.
So what was the average day like for you back then? Will you just get up and I don't know what adjective to use for the activity you partake in. What was like your average day like?
My average day, I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. Like, I had an amazing childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I really did. Like, my mum and my dad, they provided a Disneyland upbringing for me. We had a nice house, a tree by the side of our house, which we played football against the side of the house, and we lived in a cul-de-sac. It was very suburbia.
Yeah.
Very suburban. And when I got to 13, then and they split up, my whole environment changed, and what I'm taught for me in my recovery is that I don't become an addict overnight. So what happened was between the age of sort of 12 and 20, I went from marijuana onto ecstasy onto LSD then onto mushrooms, and finally then found cocaine. And an average day for me, bro. And again, it's not nice to say at the same time. It's my truth, and it would mainly what would happen, bro, from the age of sort of 13 to 14 onwards, is that I would go to school.
Yeah.
At this point now, bro, I was failing all subjects because I was using drugs a lot. I would come home. I wouldn't do any homework. I would go upstairs. I would blast the music as loud as I could, because my head was noisy, because I was super sensitive brain. I didn't know how to process my own feelings or my own thoughts. And then it would get to about 10 o'clock at night, and everyone, bro, would go to bed. See, at 10 o'clock at night then, it was almost like my mind cleared, and I would call my friend at the time.
Yeah.
God bless him, he's not here today. He committed suicide in prison through this disease of addiction. And I would call him at 10 o'clock, and we would go out and spend all night out, if you like, getting up to no good, putting out green weedy bins onto the middle of the roads and chasing the milk float, and taking pints of milk off the back when he stopped and drinking them, and then putting them back in the empties. And we were naughty boys.
Lovely. We've got to pause. I've got to play a track, play some ads, and I want to talk to you after about what the general life was like, your day-to-day life as an addict, and then how do people start noticing. Let's play this. We've got some Gabrielle to play. It's 10 years time. It's a nice reflective track. His name is Elliott Turner. He runs the Facebook daily live vlog called The Life of an Addict. So we're talking about his life as an recovering addict and life through lockdown. Let's bring Elliott back in. Good morning, Elliott.
Hey, bro.
Still there. Apologies for that Lily Allen track. That took me by surprise as well. I thought she could sing. You have to forgive me. Let's go back to talking about you. Can you sing?
Pass. No, I can't.
You sound like you could. You've got that kind of gentle voice. That's something you could sing.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, no, I'm not a good singer.
Excuse me. So let's go back to life as an addict. So what was your daily life like when you was in addiction? Was it lots of partying, going out, fast women, drugs, house music?
Do you know something? Like all of what you just said, it sounds exactly like what it was. You know, there was lots of parties, like, you know, and interesting enough, bro, just like you said, I call it fast cars and faster women. Lots of cocaine, lots of alcohol, and do you know something? That's not to glorify it, because, you know, underneath, like, if you were to look down, bro, you know, everything on the top, it shimmered. It looked like I had everything. You know, I had a gorgeous girlfriend. I had 2 nice sports cars. I had a little fleet of vans. I was the owner and operator of 3 construction companies. I had a group of companies, 60 odd employees that worked for me at the time. And I don't say any of that, bro, you know, to display any ego. It's not about that. It's just like, literally, it's about being real. And underneath all of that, I was so broken. I was so confused. I was, for me as an addict, I was continuously chasing, and I look back at it now, bro, and I'm like, do you know what? It makes me feel exhausted to think about how fast I chased all those things, because I wasn't fulfilled from the inside. So yeah. So
we've just gone through lockdown, and this may sound like a really stupid question, but did you miss that kind of lifestyle? The drugs, the alcohol, the speed of things. Did you miss that sort of lifestyle? And especially during lockdown, where you've had time to reflect and think and be on your own.
Do you know, it's interesting you asking that, bro, because somebody else said, a friend of mine in recovery, when we were talking about this, and he had said, you know, Elliott, he said, sometimes, he said, I miss the chaos. You know, I miss the hustle and the bustle. And what I found is, bro, is that when I went into rehab, I couldn't see life. Like, for me, going bowling or going for a date, going on, you know, on a date with my girlfriend, or going to see my dad and my mum, or taking my daughter to the pictures, I was like, do you know what? That's so boring. Like, who wants to? I couldn't do any of those things without a drink or a substance. And now today, like, I look back and I'm my therapist. He once asked me, bro. He said, Elliott, he said, what's the difference for you between happiness and excitement? He said, what do they look like? And I said, well, bro, excitement is I'm down the pub with the guys, displaying passive aggression, mickey taking, spitting, swearing, doing loads of cocaine off the bar. You know, he said, okay. He said, so can I ask you what happiness looks like for you? And I was like, well, duh, the same thing. And he said, do you know what's really interesting? He said, we've been working together now for about 6 months, Elliott. He said, and I asked you how you were one morning. He said, and you said that you were sat in the living room with your daughter, and you had the blanket over you, and you had the telly on. He said, and outside you described the weather. You said the rain was hammering down that hard. It was bouncing off the floor and bouncing off the windows. He said you had the popcorn on board, the sweets on board. You had Disney playing on the telly. He said, I've never seen you smile so wide. He said, that is happiness. He said, please don't get them confused. Happiness and excitement are 2 different things completely. So for me, like, when I'm asked, you know, do I miss the excitement? Yes, it was exciting. At the same time, happiness my happiness is so rich today that it far exceeds any short burst of excitement that lifestyle gave me.
Yeah. I want to ask you really quickly. Do you've experienced the drugs, the alcohol? Drugs are illegal. Do you think alcohol should be illegal? Because we can easily buy alcohol. It's crazy how easy it is to actually go and buy alcohol.
Do you know, bro? If I'm honest, like, you know, no. If I'm honest, I don't think it should be illegal. I think, for me, if I'm really honest, it's not my fault, and I'm taught this. My recovery teaches me this, brother, that it's not my fault that I'm an addict. It's not my fault that I was born with a super sensitive brain. However, if I go back to 2 years ago and rewind the clock to 2 years ago, I remember saying to my dad, "Do you know something, Dad? I wish they would just close all the pubs down. You know, in the UK, why do they have to serve? Because alcohol is a poison." And that's why, you know, it makes me slurry. My speech is slurry. I act differently. You know, and I said to my dad, "What, you know, if they only closed all the pubs and they stopped serving alcohol, they made it illegal, I would be okay." And the truth is, bro, alcohol and cocaine aren't my problem, because I can become addicted to anything if I'm not careful. So if that's the case, I need you to stop. I need Domino's to close. I need the gyms to close. I need gorgeous women to stop wearing short skirts and looking pretty. You know, because I can become addicted to anything. So really, no, I don't think they should make alcohol illegal.
Let me ask you quickly: how did you stop becoming addicted? Because I really want to get to your Facebook vlog, but how did you stop being addicted? Is that even a phrase? Does that work?
Yeah, do you know, like, again, when I walked into rehab, brother, you know, and I sat down in the room. There's about 15 to 20 people, and they sat down and they went around the room, and the idea was that as it got to the next person, each individual person, you can announce your name and say that, you know, that you thought you had a problem, and to give 2 words to describe how you felt. And I was like, I'm not doing this. You know, I just need the magic pill. I'm not here to sit and talk about my feelings and my emotions. I'm not a child. You know, I'm not weak. You know, I'm a strong man. I have ego. I have control. I have narcissism. You know, I'm aggressive, and all these things help to protect little Elliott. So what happened was that when they asked me and they started to break this egg, as I like to call it, I was finding that in actual fact, all these things that protected me, they weren't protecting me. They were imprisoning my mind. So when I went in there with the idea of, you know, and the question of, you know, I'm not here to sit here and talk about my feelings. I want the pill. In actual fact, there is no magic pill. And the cure for me, bro, as you asked, you know, it is to talk about my feelings, to talk about my thoughts, and not just to talk about them, brother, to cry. And you know something? One of the biggest, the best things I've learned today is that it's not just okay to cry. It's amazing to cry. And in front, I can cry in front of my daughter. I can cry in front of other women, and more importantly, I can cry in front of other men. It really helped me. It changed my brain and my thoughts.
Wow, that is deep. I think we need a break. That is very deep and very intense stuff, Elliott. You have I love this. So Elliott's requested a couple of tracks that just means something to him and that just resonate with him, and I feel are poignant. So we're going to play Stormzy and M&EK. We know how to say his name at last. It's called Blinded by Your Grace. And then after that, we're gonna change the tempo a bit, Elliott. We're gonna talk about life now, the things you've achieved, because things have improved for you, haven't they?
They have, bro. Yeah, massively.
Excellent. Hey, I'll let Elliott tell you who he is. Elliott, who are you?
Hey, bro. Yeah, well, yeah, those things.
So let's get in front of the microphone. Let's talk about your Facebook page. Let's be happy. Let's talk about the success. So you have the daily life of an addict Facebook vlog. Now your Facebook page has over 4,000 fans, which I think is incredible. Tell us about the vlog, what you do on the vlog.
So, 17, nearly 17 months ago, bro, I sat down with my therapist, and he said, "So, what would little Elliot like to do?" And I said, I'm 35. I'm not a child. And I felt quite uncomfortable about it. And he said to me, looked at me, smiled, and said, "Why would you say that?" He said, "Everyone has it in a child, Elliot."
Mm.
And I was like, "Well, okay, well, I suppose I would like to help. I've always liked helping, bro. And so I would like to document my life. And it's not about teaching people. It's not about preaching to people. It's not about, saying this is how I've done it, so that's how you should do it. It's nothing like that. It's just literally me, sat anywhere in my flat at any given time, of the day for an hour, and I talk about how I feel, and talk about what it's like today. For this addict, and I'm finding it's really cool, bro, because I get some really, really good feedback. There is someone who I think is listening right now, and he, before he came into recovery, he knew nothing about recovery, and his sister stumbled across my page, my platform, The Daily Life of an Addict, and she, introduced her brother to it, who was, in deep in alcoholism, and he then managed to. It's helped him to recover. I was like, "Do you know what? That's amazing that I've been able to, help someone, on their journey." I just feel really humbled by it.
So I have to ask you, what is life like for you today? Because you're a model, you're a business owner, you're a father, you have this very successful vlog. What is life like for you today?
I don't know if it's successful. It's today. Today, what's life like today, bro? Today, it's all about chasing little Elliott's dreams. Today, I bodybuild. So I used to love looking at pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger, when I was sort of 12, 13. I have posters of him all around my bedroom.
Yeah.
My brother and I, we love that. I like to dance in front of the mirror with my hairbrush to Michael Jackson, I'm Bad.
Can you post that for us on your vlog, please? I would like to watch that.
I can't believe I just confessed that. Today, what life is about? It's about finding. It's the journey.
Yeah.
It's a 37-year-old guy. It's his journey back to that 13-year-old boy, and taking him by the hand and saying, "Do you know what? You don't have to be scared anymore. There's no more drugs. There's no more alcohol, and you have no pressures. Let's go and do what you dreamt of." And it is, like I said, bodybuilding, helping people. I love the modelling. I love modelling. I'm still an aspiring model. I'm not published in any shape or form.
You modelling clothes? Or are you modelling? Because I've seen some pictures on your Instagram. I've seen clothes. I've seen, let's just say, not so many clothes.
So yeah, guilty as charged. So someone asked me the other day, and they asked me, "How's your modelling going, Elliot?" And then they asked me, what's your niche?
Yeah.
And I said, if I'm honest, bro, like I like to model fitness and sportswear. At the same time, I also like, to be vulnerable, to be real, and to show the development of my body. So I do some semi-nude stuff as well. And I'm just speaking to someone.
Yeah.
About 2-3 days ago, bro, and he's a photographer, and he asked me, what would you like to do? And I said, I would really like to. I would really like to put a video together. So it will be my first actual cinema photographer, if that's what they call them, where he will consolidate a minute video which will be, it will be me, waking up in the morning on the end of my bed, rubbing my eyes, and then walking to the gym, and then going into the gym, and then he said that he will put some backing music to it, and then hopefully I'm going to send him over some clips of my daily life of an addict, and then he will play the narrative over the video as well. So I'm really, really excited about it.
Wow, you've got some good projects coming up. So if we want to follow the vlog or hire you or look at some of your semi-naked pictures as you put it on Instagram, I've really liked and seen all of them. That's probably why Elliott is here today.
I love your honesty, man.
Well, I'm joking. I don't spend my time looking at you with no top on. How disingenuous did that sound? Where can we find out more about you? Have you got Instagram, a website, email? How can we hire you and watch what you're doing on Facebook?
Facebook, I'm searchable. You can find me. It's called The Daily Life of an Addict. And then there'll be a picture pops up. It's like a black and white image of me stood there with a blazer on.
Yep.
That's my Facebook alias, and then my Instagram is Elliott. That's ELLIOTT9292. That's my Instagram link.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on, Elliott. I'm going to quickly read out these helplines for anyone who has trouble with alcohol or drug addiction. There's the NHS website, or you can use the Drink Aware website. The site is drinkaware.co.uk, or you can call Drinkline. Their helpline is 0300 123 1110. That's 0300 123 1110. Elliott, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been a lot of fun. Thank you for opening up.
No, it's lovely, Brian. Thank you so much for having me. I really, really loved it.
Good. The last song, Elliott, we're going to play for you